All right, good morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Easy Like Sunday Morning podcast. My name is Charles Watson, and happy Sunday. Welcome. Hope everybody is having a great weekend so far. I know we are. It is beautiful. Cold front came through Florida, and I really enjoy Florida winters. It is a balmy 74 degrees today. So we're excited about getting outside, maybe hitting up the farmer's market, taking a little pup down by the intercoastal waterway there, walking him around. So that'll be a lot of fun. But first, I need to do the Easy Like Sunday Morning podcast and welcome. Today's topic is SEO, otherwise known as search engine optimization. And today for our podcast, SEO is a extremely complicated topic with a lot of nooks and crannies and a lot of cogwheels that make this marketing tool work and flow the right way. So this is going to probably end up being a series, but for today, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask me about SEO and do we do SEO work. So I wanted to kind of get the ball rolling for the new year and just kind of talk about search engine optimization. So today we have a couple tasks for the podcast. I want to talk about what is SEO, why is SEO important, and 5 simple tips that you can implement right now into your social media marketing and your website to help drive more traffic to your website, get you some more exposure for your small business, for your small brand, kind of get your name to your target market. Getting your name out there is a waste of time. We really preach that you really need to have a target market in mind when you're doing all this for your marketing to be successful. You have to have a defined target market. But for today, let's get into search engine optimization. So SEO, as I just said, stands for search engine optimization. And it's basically the process of getting traffic from what they call free, organic, editorial, or natural search results from search engines. So all major search engines, Google, Bing, Yahoo, they all have primary search results. And what primary search results are, it's basically where web pages and other content, such as like videos, local listings, blogs, stuff like that, are shown and ranked based on what the search engine considers most relevant to users. Payment is not involved in these search rankings. This is free. This is organic, editorial, natural. This is not the same as paid search ads. So this is all about free organic traffic. So SEO is probably one of the most important elements and one of the oldest elements to building an online marketing strategy around SEO. And the biggest thing to keep in mind, the biggest takeaway from when you're building your marketing strategies with SEO is that you have to show empathy for your audience. Once you grasp and you understand 2 things, who your target market is and what your target market is looking for, then you can more effectively reach and keep those users. Okay, so I know it's complicated, but let's break it down simple. SEO is the art of getting traffic to your content, to your website, to your social media posts, to your YouTube videos, to your Instagram pictures. It's the art of getting free, organic, non-paid traffic, prospects to interact with your brand. All the search engines take SEO into consideration. It is one of the metrics that they use to measure and rank your content on the search engines. And the 2 ways to immediately start improving your SEO is as a business or as a brand or as an entrepreneur. The first thing you need to do is you have to define your target market, and you have to understand what that target market wants, needs, and buys. Okay, so that's it. Who's your target market? What do the target market, what do they want? What do they need? And what do they buy? All right, so once you have that figured out, now we can go down to how people interact with search engines, like what their habits are. So here at Expert Influencer Academy, and in other videos, we always tell you guys that content is king. You need to build for users and not for the search engines. And basically, hey, good morning, Dennis. Good to see you. Basically, there are three types of searches that users, whenever they pull out their smartphone, whenever they do a search, they query a search on a website, they're generally trying to ask or search for three things. The first one is the do query. So they want to do something such as buy a plane ticket, listen to a song, purchase a, I don't know, subscription to a magazine. Okay, so there's the do search. These guys are looking for something to do on the internet. Then there's the no search, and this is a query for information. So they need information, such as the name of a band, the best restaurant in New York City, the #1 recommended psychiatrist in your local market, in your area, your graphical area. So that's the no search, search number 2. The third search and the final way that most people interact with search engines is they're looking for a navigation query, somewhere to go. I want to go to a particular place on the internet, such as Facebook or the homepage of the NFL. I want to go to YouTube. I want to go to Twitter. I want to go to Fiverr. So you jump on the internet because you want to go to another page. So when visitors type a query into a search box and land on your site, this is what you need to ask yourself. Will they be satisfied with what they find? Is your content relevant to what you're selling? Is your content relevant to the advice you're giving? Is your content relevant to your brand? This is the primary question that search engines try to answer billions of times a day. Remember, a search engine's primary responsibility is to serve relevant results to their users. Okay, and this is really important to know, especially when we get into the 5 tips, because these problems here, the topics that we're discussing right now, these tips are going to show you how you can deal with what we're talking about here. All right, so now that we have that out of the way, we have a basic understanding of what SEO is. We understand that a search engine's job is to provide and serve the relevant information to an end user, something that they're looking for. So again, you can see how defining your target market, knowing exactly who it is that your product is for, your service is for, or your videos are for, exactly who your target market is, and then creating content relevant to that market. That's all the infrastructure and basically the backbone of SEO. And like I said, there are a lot of intricacies and there are a lot of steps in between there. And this is going to be a series, but for the first video, we just need a basic understanding of what SEO works, what it is, how it works, and what you can do to improve your SEO results for your content. So with that said, let's jump into the 5 simple SEO tips to help your website, even your YouTube videos, even your tweets, even your Instagram photos. SEO is across the board. It's awesome for all of the web platforms. All of the search engines work like this. So the 5 simple SEO tips for better rankings. Here we go. So number 1 is you want to optimize your titles, your URLs, and descriptions. And this is probably in SEO. This is probably the oldest tip in the SEO industry, but it's still the most important. You want to make sure that you have a unique and meaningful title, a catchy description, and a well-formatted URL. And if you really pay attention to the internet these days, people are starting to shorten URLs. If you notice, you don't really run into like 2 or 3 sentence lines long URLs anymore. You can go to a site like Bitly. It's bit.ly, and you can use a free program. It's completely free, and you can take those long URLs and you can shorten them down, and that way it saves real estate and it saves space on your advertising campaign. Because when when you get into marketing and advertising, every inch of marketing and advertising space is extremely valuable. So you don't want it to junk it up, and you don't want to take up a lot of space with a real long URL. I'll try to keep my elbows off the desk. I see it's moving the camera around. I'm sorry. I hope nobody gets seasick. So examine your website using this way of thinking, and if there's room for improvement in your titles and in your descriptions, this is your first priority and a great first step for getting better rankings. So you want to make sure that your titles are relevant, they're exact, they're short and to the point. There shouldn't be a hidden meaning in your titles. 36 steps to enlightening yourself. If it's about taking vitamins, tell people take vitamins, feel healthier. Don't 37 ways to get in contact with the universe to strengthen your inner being. Just eat well and get healthy. You see, I know that's extreme. I know it's a little over the top, but I just want to put that into perspective for you. The second tip is provide useful and fresh content. One of the reasons you have a website or blog, obviously, is to provide content to build an audience, to keep your existing customers, prospects, and leads happy, and to gain new customers, right? Marketing today in the U economy in 2019 is all about providing value. People are tired of being barked at. People are tired of being hammered over the head with buy now, buy now, buy now. They are actually looking for engaging and relevant content, something that's going to enrich their lives. You need to be doing that as well. You need to be keeping your audience happy. You need to be producing shareable content. By content, like I said, we mean anything from articles, videos, infographics, slideshows, music, comments, reviews, anything else suited for your niche. Whenever you're posting anything, just make sure it's relevant, make sure it's fresh, and make sure it's adding value. And a good example of this is, what is your first reaction when you visit a website and it has out-of-date content? Do you stick around? No. You click off because you automatically know that that's not what you're looking for. You don't stick around and hunt for what you're looking for. If it doesn't pop up on the first page, you're on to the next. It's the same thing with your website. If you're like that with other people's websites, people are like that with your website. You have to understand that you're human too. And the majority of humans and the majority of people, they all have the same search patterns. They all use the internet and web browsers the same way. So apply that. Is your website engaging? Is your content engaging? When you have to proofread your content before you post it on social media, do you skim through it because it's boring and you don't want to read it anymore? If that's your reaction, that's going to be the reaction of the people that come to your website. Just keep that in mind, okay? So provide fresh and useful content. There is a lot of competition out there for keywords and for websites that have the most fresh and updated and useful content. You want to make sure that yours is one of them, all right? The third tip is you want to improve your website's loading time, response time. If you go to your website, if you go to your blog, if we go to your YouTube channel, does it take more than 3 or 4 seconds to load up, 5 seconds to load up? If it does, that could be affecting your SEO score, and it could be affecting where you're ranking in the search engines. A lot of people don't even think about that, but that is a major factor. How responsive is your website? And if this is the first time that you're reading about how speed is important for SEO, then you need to go take a look at your website, and you need to improve the loading time of your website. page speed is definitely a ranking factor. If you have two similar websites and one is faster than the other, you can expect that it will also rank higher. Faster websites generate more conversions. That means the more sales, the more RSS subscribers, and the more clicks on your ads if your website is more responsive. And you get more page views. When a website loads fast, users are likely to visit more than one page before they leave. If it takes forever, they're going to click off. So how can you improve the speed of your website? I'm going to give you a couple pointers right here. First of all, you can remove all the big images from your website. Remove unnecessary JavaScript files. You can small images, use sprites instead of small images to minimize HTTP redirects. You can move to a faster hosting provider, right? You can move to somebody that has a better hosting services, better speeds. And you can use Google. You can Google how to optimize my website, and you can read what they require to use their platform. So, you know, these search engines and these browsers, they reward people. All platforms, really, all the social media platforms work like this, all the web browsers work like this. They reward users and they reward creators that use their platform the way it was meant to be used. Boo, I know, it blows your mind. But if you actually use these tools the way they're supposed to be used, those platforms reward you and you rank higher in the search results. And number 4, and this is really huge, and this ties into a blog post that we just posted up yesterday on our website, expertinfluenceracademy.com. In fact, I have a link to the blog post down below. It's the top 3 SEO trends to watch for in 2019. And this is a big one. This is the number 1 trend on that blog post. But this is the number 4 tip in this video, and that is make sure that your website is mobile friendly. Like I talk about in the blog post, 52% of the world's web traffic in 2018 was served on mobile devices. So phones, tablets, mobile devices. So you want to make sure that your website, your content looks good on mobile and not only good on a desktop, but you want to make sure that it also looks good on mobile. Read that blog post because there was a major paradigm shift in March 2018 that Google unveiled, and this really changes the ballgame for everyone. So if you take anything away from this podcast, it's tip number 4, and that's make your website and your content mobile friendly. You can test your websites. You can test your content with a tool called Google Mobile Friendly Test. Just type that into the browser and do that test. And they give you recommendations that you can try to implement. Implement the recommendations for making your website mobile friendly. Make sure that the content you show to mobile users is the same or very close to the content you have on your desktop website. This includes both content, images, links. If you already have a responsive website, then this shouldn't be an issue. So that blog post really complements this 4th tip, so go check that out. All right, and finally, tip number 5, and this is one that not a lot of people talk about, but it's really important, is register your website. Register your website with Google and Bing Webmaster Tools. All right. Some people believe that by not registering your website with Google, you can hide things from them to kind of slip under their radar and reach the top of the search results. That's not true. I mean, it's not a hide and seek game. You want to make sure that good long-term rankings can only be achieved if you follow valid methods and techniques. And just for the record, Google already knows everything they need to know about your website with or without you submitting it to website tools. So you're really not gonna fool anyone. So go to Google Webmaster Tools, Bing Webmaster Tools, and register those sites with those search engines so that they can send the spiders. Remember, this all goes back to the World Wide Web. It's a web. So they send their spiders to crawl your website and index all your pages and your metadata and your content. And that all gets ranked to help hopefully get you found, you know? Well, guys, I know that was a lot. Thank you for taking the time to watch this podcast. I hope you guys found it useful. That was our topic on SEO. And like I said, I know it's extremely complicated, but hopefully what we talked about today and those 5 tips, you can begin to go over and study and review what you've posted online on your website and on your social media posts so far, and you can work to optimize these. Mindy, thank you very much. I'm glad that you found it helpful. Mindy says, thanks, this is really helpful. Not a problem, my pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in. So guys, there you go. Let me know what other SEO tips you have in the comments. I am going to make this a series. So this is video number 1. What is SEO? Why is it important? And what you can do right now to start improving your SEO. If you want any other specific topics, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to check out our book club, the blog post that complements this video. We have links to that in the description. So thanks for tuning in to the Easy Like Sunday Morning podcast. Again, my name is Charles, and we will see you next week right here on Facebook Live at 9 a.m. for the Easy Like Sunday Morning podcast.